Good afternoon. Today on the big match, it's West Ham against First Division leaders Nottingham Forest, a goal thriller between Norwich City and Watford, and we round off the programme as Alan Ball, that great old England favourite, seeks to bring the golden days back to Portsmouth. It's Portsmouth against Shrewsbury. A special report on that one. But first, West Ham against Forest at Upton Park.
Billy Bonds was 38 years old last Monday, and what an object lesson he's been to professional footballers everywhere in the land. Some 700 league appearances in all, and I think that he's twice the age of 19-year-old Mark Smalley, the central defender who makes his first full league appearance for Nottingham Forest today. And certainly if Forest get a Billy Bonds career out of young Mark, then they'll consider themselves a very lucky club indeed. Well, here's the West Ham team. Billy plays because Alvin Martin's got a calf muscle injury. Paul Goddard returns to start a game after an ankle injury. He came on for the last minutes of last week's defeat at Chelsea. Meanwhile, Nottingham Forest make two changes from the side that drew with Bruges in the UEFA Cup in midweek. Steve Hodge, who was suspended, returns. Paul Hart is still missing because of a hamstring injury, and so too now is striker Trevor Christie. He's also injured. Colin Walsh takes the number 11 shirt. The referee is John Martin from Alton in Hampshire.
And we join the match in the first half.
Gale. West Ham fans wanted to see a forward ball, but there might be progress here from Stewart. Goddard again, a little touch. Oh, and it might come, and in the end, it was the slightest mistake by Mark Smalley, but he more than made amends by getting in quickly, putting the ball behind for the corner. Billy Bonds has come up into the box and has got a bit of room there as well. And that's the man they've aimed for, and it's Bonds' his header. Oh, headed off the line that time by Gunn from Goddard, and just wide of the post again by Paul Goddard. And West Ham so close to getting an opening goal in the first 5 minutes. It was good header by Billy Bonds. Touched by Goddard, headed away by Gunn. Walford. That's a searching ball there to Goddard, and it might come for a shot by Dickens in the end. A Forest foot just gets it away to Method, and it's a good break. And Hodge is after it. Bonds is going with him, and the 38-year-old Billy Bonds had pace enough to beat Stephen Hodge and win the applause, grateful applause of the West Ham faithful. So there's plenty of mileage left yet in Billy Bonds. Bonds. And a good long shot by Allen that's almost caused Sutton real problems. Particularly as Cotty was following up so quickly. Hit from a long way out. May have just taken the tiniest deflection there off a defender, and he got there just before Cotty. A little touch on by Davenport, and Hodge with all the pace in the world again. Good tackle by Gale, and the referee was really right up with that. Should there have been any thought of a penalty at all, he was bang on the spot. Hodge again, and turned back by Stewart, and that looked like a corner. West Ham don't think so. Tom McAllister says, I don't think you're right. I must say my first judgment was that that did cross the line. Remember, the whole of the ball has to cross the line. Well, I think the referee might have had a case there. Corner given, boos around Upton Park. Wigley crossing it in, and nodded just wide by Smalley. Not far, the young man, from getting his first league goal there. Crossed in by Wigley. It was a good cross as well. Not there was much to be said about the West Ham marking. Good change of direction by Billy Bonds. Simple pass for Paul Allen. Another simple one for Walford. Good one here for Barnes. This is when the work's got to be done, though. And Forest could have got it away, but didn't. Goddard on the turn, and they've got a corner. Bonds comes forward again. Well, he came forward for a corner earlier on, and it very nearly produced a West Ham goal. Flicked on that time by Dickens. Stewart getting it in there. Stewart again. This time finding Barnes. He's got Allen away on his left. Obstruction there. West Ham's free kick. Obstruction by Bryn done on Paul Allen. Both Gale and Bonds are forward for this. Walford's taking it. Gale's header! Superb save by Sutton, pushing it against the post. Well, Tony Gale so close to getting his first goal for West Ham with a lovely header, matched only by a superb piece of keeping there, pushing it onto the post by young Steve Sutton. Bonds once more. Begins. Oh, the little touch by Goddard coming through, and sadly for West Ham, the whistle went too quickly, and the referee feels that he's got to give the card or the booking to Chris Fairclough, as Goddard was trying to wend his way through. Dickens, who played it, there was the challenge. Well, I suppose West Ham fans say if the advantage had been played, would have been a goal up, but it's so easy to say that from here, but the referee putting the name of Fairclough into the book. And the referee now deciding that West Ham hadn't placed the ball in the right spot. It's Goddard, shot comfortably saved by Sutton. Swain now. Stopped by Gale, Pike, and now Medhood, long range shot, oh, and a nasty one that was bouncing very awkwardly in front of McAllister. He blew out his cheeks when he grabbed hold of that one. Medhood's shot, maybe a slight deflection again, and it took a bit of watching. And Billy Bonds playing it forward towards Goddard. Trying to get it on the turn. Oh, great skill, but straight at the keeper. Lovely bit of skill there. The defender climbing all over him, Chris Fairclough. But a lovely shot on the turn, sadly for West Ham, straight at Sutton. Barnes. Pike. Gary Mills beginning to warm up for Nottingham Forest, but Pike takes it up for West Ham. Sutton pushing it away. And Davenport now for Forest. Oh, a good West Ham move, and Pike at the centre of it all, pushed away by the Forest keeper. There's Brian Clough, that's a good shot there, trying to lift Nottingham Forest. Well, they're doing fairly well, they're holding to 0-0 away from home. He's really animated on that bench this afternoon, and a goal kick given. Oh, that's a bad back pass. It put Davenport in, and McAllister saving well. Well, Stewart very nearly putting his side in the deepest trouble there. Let's just see what happens here, though, as Bowyer turns it in, and Pike, not the tallest of men, was there to get it away just when it was needed. Allen, now Dickens. Well, that fright may have stirred West Ham a little bit. but Fairclough and then Swain get it back. It was a terrible back pass by Ray Stewart. Suddenly Davenport, who's got a great goal-scoring record, 6 goals this season, but Tom McAllister there. McAllister, of course, who's in place of Phil Parkes, who will be out for at least another 3 weeks. Wigley, pursued by Bonds. Brought down by Billy Bonds. Well, it could hardly have been more under the eyes of the referee. Jeff Pike doing a bit of lining up of the wall. Now Method, and it's Method, in fact, curling it. Good save by McAllister. He had to make some ground across his goal to push that one away. It's a corner for Forest, following this excellent save by Tom McAllister. What a good stand-in he's been for Phil Parkes. John Lyle full of praise for his way he's reacted over the last 2 or 3 years, but not there. No, disallowed. Disallowed. The linesman's flag was up. There was an offside right on the line. And when you think about it, against Bruges on Wednesday night, Forest late in the game had a goal by Gary Mills disallowed for offside. And here we come now, suddenly, with a great chance of going into the lead. Ian Bowyer adjudged to be offside. Towards Goddard, he tried to knock it down towards Allen. It might come to Bobby Bonds. Roaring for a penalty, the referee didn't want to know. And the referee getting some stick from the crowd, feeling that that should have been a penalty. But he was again perfectly placed. And, well, I see that West Ham and their fans had a fair case. And here's Johnny Method. Pike is after him, advantage played. Wigley once more, played in early this time for Davenport. And pushed away again. 2 miraculous pieces of work there on the West Ham goal line. Davenport, it seemed a certainty after Method had played the ball out to Wigley. In it came, Davenport's shot kicked away, and Hodge had his shot pushed away by McAllister.
And that was in the very last minute of the game. No goals then, but I found that a thoroughly enjoyable game. And what a performance once more by the West Ham keeper, Tom McAllister. Really, it's a nice little selection problem now for the West Ham manager, John Lyle, when Phil Parkes is fit again, which will be in 2 or 3 weeks' time. Well, the draw means that Forest, who look a real tidy side, I must say, are dropped from 1st to 3rd behind the big North London pair, Spurs at the top and Arsenal 2nd. And with that point, West Ham, they are 7th. Well, 2 clubs not yet in those top placings are Norwich and Watford, but they produced a fine match yesterday. That comes up in a moment. Welcome back. Well, there's certainly more exciting action coming your way right now, because now we go to Norwich City against Watford. Well, it was a match that was noted last season for a quite amazing goal burst by Norwich City. They scored 6 times against a Watford side that were then on their way to a Wembley final. And John Dean got 4 of them.
Dean, a mighty clearance. And it might get for Dean! And he's got it in! Well, a remarkable goal for Norwich. Dean trying to get it down for Shannon. Played it again for Dean. Tremendous goal! And he's done it again. His hat-trick. It's the same side. It's the same results.
John Dean was the toast of Norwich that day in April. He scored 4 of the 6 goals, 2 of them from the penalty spot. The unhappy Watford goalkeeper, Steve Sherwood, who admitted later, "That was the worst game of my life." Norwich have serious injury problems, 12 professionals out of action. Goalkeeper Chris Woods and Peter Mendham are playing, although they're not 100% fit. The absence of Mick Channon and Keith Birchin, who's joining Portsmouth, gives another chance to Mark Farrington and Lou Donower. Watford are still without their captain, Wilf Rostron. He's recovered from a hamstring injury, but now has a back problem. Luther Blissett is playing in midfield at the moment. Up front, George Riley returns to resume the partnership with Maurice Johnston that was so successful last season. Today's referee comes from Rutland in Leicestershire. It's Jim Ashworth. So Watford then kicking off in their change colours of white shirts and red shorts, hoping for a change of fortune too, although Graham Taylor says he's not at all concerned at the way they're playing and feels certain that results will come as long as they don't panic. Pushed then by Van Wyk on Callahan. No panicking yet from Ken Brown on the injury situation, although clearly it has contributed to a rather modest start to the new season for Norwich. And here's Bardsley with the free kick then for Watford. Aimed towards the towering figure of Riley, but it's Barnes who flicks it across and just palmed away by Woods. A splendid reaction save. Here we can see the near miss again, the free kick taken there by Bardsley. Riley appeared to be the target. He went on to Barnes, and there's his shot, and Woods palmed it away. Devine. Dean came off Terry. Penalty! He struck him on the arm, and referee Jim Ashworth had no hesitation in awarding the penalty to Norwich. Here we can see the incident again. It's Devine who crosses the ball in. Dean here with a header down and off the arm of Terry. Penalty, says the referee. Watford know all about penalties here, and John Dean, who scored 2 in the match last time, remember, will be taking the kick again against Steve Sherwood. History repeating itself here. Dean missed a penalty in the opening game of the season against Liverpool and didn't take the second one later in the game, right at the finish in fact. Mick Channon took it and scored. Channon, of course, not in the side. So Dean has the task again of beating Steve Sherwood. He scored. And John Dean has given Norwich the lead. His first goal of the season, in fact. So 1-0 to Norwich. The scorer, John Dean, from the penalty spot. Long kick, headed away by Sinnott, but only as far as Dale Gordon. A lovely turn of pace. The shot was wide, but a lot of promise about Dale Gordon, who's only 17 and in fact is still eligible for the club's youth team. Made his debut in the opening game against Liverpool this season. Jump by Gordon. Mendham now for Norwich. Devine. Here's Gordon again. Haylock's made a good run outside him, but it was well spotted too by John Barnes, who'll come back to cover. John Barnes showing that for all his ability, he's still prepared to work along with the rest of his teammates. Through to Norwich. Here's Devine. Donowa. His cross in, the flick on from Dean. Ball was in there, and no! Sherwood's lost it! Gordon was in, eventually Mendham shot. Sherwood couldn't hold on to it, then just touched it away. Here's the corner. Sherwood's way out of goal was blocked then. Header wide anyway. Bruce, always a threat on the set pieces. Now Callahan getting the break of the ball there. Oh, Bruce has lost it. Johnston! Just past the post. Mistake then by Steve Bruce. Johnston was quick to seize his chance, but couldn't turn it in. On from Farrington. That was a good header. Dean, now for Donowa. Still Donowa. Barnsley trying to check his run. Manages to do so in the end. Then at the expense of a corner. Lou Donowa, certainly a thorn in Watford's flesh today. Norwich's 5th corner of this first half, taken by Gordon. Farrington off the bar. Sherwood just managing to touch the ball onto the bar. The header from Farrington, who climbed well. And Watford were lucky to survive then. The header from young Mark Farrington. Riley with the header on. Free kick. Will devise here. Barnes is involved, so is Callahan. Both can certainly strike a ball from that sort of distance. There's Barnes off the defender. Johnston. 1-1. Certainly Woods was sent the wrong way by the deflection, and Johnson to finish. The free kick taken by John Barnes. Here we can see it again now. It certainly takes a deflection on the way. And Johnston with a simple finish. Riley. Jacket waiting for some movement. He's found it now with Blissett. Came off Barnes. And Watson able to clear. Terry was being held off then. Jacket with the free kick. Up towards Riley, but there goes the half-time whistle. Two teams that promise to entertain haven't let us down so far. John Dean giving Norwich City the lead after 7 minutes with a penalty. And then Watford coming back 4 minutes from half-time with the equaliser from Maurice Johnston. At half-time, it's 1-1. So Norwich City then start the second half of a fixture that's so often provided goals in the past. 27 in the last 6 meetings. Norwich incidentally also won the match at Vicarage Road as well as the game here. One in the air then by Watson. John Dean seems to have sustained a cut just above his eye there, the plaster. Graham Taylor, down in the dugout, having watched from the stand in the first half. Here's Kenny Jacket with the throw then for Watford. Watford making progress down their left flank, and another chance here for the long throw of Lee Sinnott. The Norwich defender certainly retreating. It really is an enormous throw. Riley! There you can see just how much danger that throw of Lee Sinnott poses for defenders. Also when you have a man as tall as George Riley around. Another prodigious throw. Riley and only just over the bar. Callahan then with the corner. And it's in from Terry. Steve Terry has scored, and Watford have taken the lead. 5 minutes into the second half. Steve Terry with his first goal of the season for Watford. Created here by the corner from Callahan. Came off, I think, the defender there, and it was Terry who was first to it. Terry. He couldn't find John Barnes. Here's Haylock with the throw. Crunching tackle by Blissett on Mendham. here. Settling for the throw. Farrington. Shot off the ball. Finally Sinnott. Watford's turn to organise themselves defensively now. Bruce and Watson both inside the penalty area. It's Devine curling it across. Oh, wonderful save! Well, that was a brilliant save. Bruce got the header in, and Sherwood spread himself and somehow catched it round the post. Well, he may have had his misdemeanors here. But Sherwood certainly saved Watford then. A brave header by Bruce. And look how Sherwood stretched. Here's Riley now. Johnston ahead of him. Foreman up in the attack. And Riley decides to go it alone. There's been some speculation that he may not have a future at Watford. He didn't make the side at the start of the season. He was dropped last week. He's come back with a vengeance today. Callahan, at that time it was too far for Riley. Barnes. Oh, complete miss kick then. Johnson's away, the mistake by Bruce. Brought down just on the edge of the area. That could have been so costly then, the mistake by Bruce. The Watford players claiming he was inside the penalty area. My initial instinct was that it was just outside the penalty box. Bruce, I think, is going to be booked for the tackle. It's a dreadful mistake from him initially. Johnston went away and was brought down. Was it inside or outside the area? Well, here it is. Johnston is clear here. The tackle was certainly outside. He falls inside, and the referee says it's just outside the free kick. The referee insisting first that the ball is 10 yards away. Callahan is over the ball, Barnes is there too, and here's Sinnott. The wall did its job. Callahan. Norwich can clear now with Dean. Donovan. This is the man who can really threaten Watford, I think. He's won the corner. If anyone can change the course of this game, it could be Louis Donovan. Watford's turn now to defend as Norwich City send forward their two big central defenders, Bruce and Watson. Quickly missed. Bruce got a second chance. Sherwood touching it. Dean! Sherwood couldn't hold on to it, and John Dean has scored his second of the game, and how he relishes playing against Watford. 6 now in 2 matches with the 4 last season, and it's back to 2-2. Watford struggled to get it away. Bruce had the shot there. Got a second chance. Sherwood couldn't hold it. And it crept over the line. May well have taken a reflection, but Dean will claim it. Mostly shackled by Watson, and unfairly so too. And the referee will have to sort this out. Certainly a foul by Watson. And the Norwich supporters showing their disapproval that it's a Watford free kick. Can't see how they could have thought otherwise. George Riley can still afford to smile about it all. He's taken harder knocks than that. He lost his teeth somewhere. George Riley and Taylor feels that they've got to work hard at their relationship, he and Johnson, this year. It really all came too easy for them last season. It's off Terry. Now Dean. Over the line before Gordon can touch it in, and John Dean has scored a hat-trick. Quite unbelievable. 4 last season, 3 this time. And John Dean can't believe it. So suddenly the game is transformed. Dean going through. Sherwood rooted to the spot. Gordon going in to make sure that Dean's goal, his third. And it's 3-2 to Norwich. An astonishing game, and it's a hat-trick for John Dean. Well, I wouldn't dare suggest that this game is over by a long way. But my word, this is quite a second half. There's a booking there for Johnston, showing his frustration that Watford suddenly find themselves behind. Header on from Devine. Here's Dean. Now for Donovan. Here's first to get the better of Bardsley. He's done well. Certainly wasted a few more precious seconds. Here's Van Wyk with the throw. Now for Dean. Van Wyk with a chance to cross it in. Gordon's at the far post there. And here's Blissett. Time was almost beaten. Watford it has now. The points are Norwich City's, and the hero of the hour, no doubt at all about that, is John Dean. 3 today, 4 last season. And he turned this game around after Watford had taken a 2-1 lead. John Dean getting his second and third goals and leaving Watford still without a league win so far this season. The final score, Norwich 3, Watford 2.
And a defeat, incidentally, that puts Watford at the bottom of the First Division table. Too early to panic yet, as Graham Taylor says. You remember they had a dreadful start last season and then came on to have a really good season in the end. Our commentator there, incidentally, Peter Brackley. Well, they say that lightning doesn't strike twice in the same place, maybe not, but John Dean does. 4 in this match last year, a hat-trick yesterday. It meant, I suppose, another match ball for the Dean sideboard.
Well, John, here you are clutching the match ball for the second season running. What is it about Watford that brings the best out of you like this?
I really don't know. I've got to give their manager, Graham Taylor, and the Watford players full credit. They always come to Norwich and they always look to attack and score goals. And every time they've come, it's been a very entertaining game. Luckily, we've had the run of the ball, but the fans can't complain. They've had great entertainment value today.
Steve Sherwood must hate the sight of you.
A little bit. I wasn't too sure if he wanted to shake hands at the end. He seemed a little bit down, but I think he made some very good saves today and kept the scoreline down a little bit.
Where's the match ball going on with the other one?
Well, I've promised it actually to a very good friend, and I'm sure he'll be waiting up in the bar now and waiting for me to bring it up.
You're not going to open a sports shop and sell them off there?
No, not yet. A couple of the directors reckon they might be running a bit short. I said if they're a bit short next Saturday, I'll lend them one for the game.
You don't need me to tell you that the Norwich directors, I'm sure, are not going to worry in the least if John can oblige them with a hat-trick every week. Incidentally, at West Ham yesterday, I bumped into Norwich's Mike Shannon. He's been out for about 3 weeks now with Achilles trouble, but he reckons he'll be fit again in a matter of days. So that's some more good news for Norwich. Well, our third match today features Alan Ball. He's always been one of the most committed of footballers, and now with a big job to do in bringing First Division football back to Portsmouth. Now, that's a town more noted, I suppose, for its seafaring stories than for those generated from Fratton Park. Martin Tyler.
Victory at Portsmouth has more often meant Admiral Nelson's flagship, a tourist attraction in the harbour, than the activities at Fratton Park, which hasn't seen First Division football since 1959. But for the match against Shrewsbury Town yesterday, manager Alan Ball arrived in the wake of 2 significant victories for Portsmouth Football Club. Last weekend, Alan Bailey's goal had brought 3 points at Leeds United. On Tuesday, it was Neil Webb who shattered Birmingham City's 100% record to the delight of a rather frustrated manager.
Well, I'd much rather be playing, but I'm proud of them. I'm proud of the way they started the season. We've got to build on it now. But they're a good bunch of lads, and the club's a happy club at the moment. It's smashing to be part of it.
Shrewsbury's manager Chick Bates was playing in the number 8 shirt, his club coming to Fratton Park third in the table. But neither side's recent good form was reflected in a poor first half, a looping header against the bar from Bailey after 5 minutes, but overall little to please the Portsmouth manager until the 54th minute. Webb sending a pile driver beyond the dive of goalkeeper Ron Green, 1-0 to Portsmouth. Shrewsbury had started the day as the second division's top scorers, but without their injured 6-goal striker Gary Stevens, they created few openings until Colin Robinson, 6 minutes from time, had their best chance of an equaliser. Alan Knight unorthodox but effective in making the save. And within a minute, Portsmouth took advantage of the let-off. Kevin Dillon's run and cross at speed, Nicky Morgan, wearing the shirt vacated by Mark Haitley, flying in to make it 2-0. In the last minute, a spell of keeping the ball turned into a move of great penetration. Webb, from closer range, tucking in the third goal. So 3 memorable victories in 8 days. It hadn't been easy yesterday, but great satisfaction for the players, Chairman John Deacon, and of course the manager. Does he find it now more of a strain than playing?
Well, mentally more tired, you know, and I mean, you still kick every ball, but it's great. I love it, but you know, especially when you win, and no goals against again, which is nice.
We're not at the end of September yet, but your fans are shouting we're going up, and you have had a marvellous week. Any comment about maybe the future as far as the side is concerned?
Well, we don't want to tempt fate, but we think we've got a good team, don't we?
Well, I think this is the best team, certainly since I've been here as chairman, which is 12 years now. Certainly the best team we've had here.
And I know for you it is perhaps your overwhelming ambition in life to get the club back into the first division.
It's the only ambition I haven't fulfilled, so we'll keep on trying, see what we can do.
Well, they are 4th in the second division. They've got a chance to test themselves against Forest in the Milk Cup. That's it for this week. Hope you've enjoyed it. A weekend when John Deacon scored his first goals of the season, making Watford suffer again. Good afternoon.